Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Karin, and in today's video I would like to talk about the correlation between unresolved childhood trauma and the developing of cancer. As I share this video about this topic, I strongly feel that I should also share a piece of my personal story, because in my early 20s, after extensive family DNA testing, I was diagnosed with the cancer gene for breast and cervical cancer, and I was very urgently advised to have both my breasts and uterus removed preventively, as to the doctors it was incontrovertible that I would develop this form of cancer. After all, it was genetically determined, and it was not a matter of if, but only when. The women in my bloodline, so to speak, all developed it at a fairly young age. So yes, I was repeatedly urged to undergo these surgeries, of course with the best intentions, I believe. At that time, I was in a very dark place, as I was still suffering from chronic PTSD and depressions due to structural violence and unsafety growing up in a very toxic and dysfunctional family. But although I was still very imbalanced and honestly in a deep low in my life in all aspects, and I needed a lot of healing to get where I am today. I did, however, know a few things very, very clear. Since I was a little girl, I have been aware of my spiritual abilities, my claircognizance, and my mission as healer. I realized at a very young age that I was going to be a cycle breaker, both relating to all the toxic patterns of physical, emotional, and psychological abuse in the family, and to all the hereditary diseases. And I had this deep knowing that I was a cycle breaker of intergenerational trauma. So, for me, it was very clear, absolutely no surgery for me, no cutting in my healthy body, and no fear-based decisions. I felt I was gonna do this my way, and from a deep intuitive knowing, a deeper understanding to a certain extent of the meaning of disease and how and what to release once illness comes to the surface. And I felt that I needed to heal myself first on other levels. And I felt so strongly that with that, I would heal these patterns of generational trauma and hereditary diseases. Now, at the age of 47, I can say that I have healed myself deeply at an energetic, emotional, and physical level. And over the years, as a part of my healing journey, as part of my spiritual awakening, I have been through several seemingly incurable conditions and healed from this, using my awareness, my spiritual ability. And this ability is not just for me. Everyone has this ability. Just most of us are not so much aware of it, and therefore cannot access it and use it to this extent. So it has become my mission to reconnect people with this potential, with this self-healing ability, and with this understanding of how to relate to pain and disease and to our bodies once illness occurs, how to understand the message within any condition, and to inspire people to tap into this ability, which we all essentially have. Basically using myself as a living, happy, and healthy example. So to get back to the video itself, Research into the connection between unresolved childhood trauma and the development of cancer later in life is a growing area of scientific inquiry, and more studies suggest that childhood trauma, including physical, emotional, and sexual abuse, but also neglect, can have lasting effects on both mental and physical health, potentially influencing the cancer risk later in life. So, did you know that according to recent studies, 95% of the people that describe their parents in their childhood as cold, distant, and unsafe developed serious health issues such as cancer around the age of 45. So that is such a remarkable and clear and undeniable research result. So, as an energy healer and trauma expert, I work with all kinds of people suffering all kinds of trauma and emotional and physical health problems. And as mentioned, it's my mission to help people reconnect with their body and their emotions, their energy. And I introduce them to the healing power of quantum healing based on the principles of quantum physics. And I teach people how to regulate emotions and work with their energy so they can rediscover their life energy and self-healing abilities again. And not only is this important to become more aware of who you really are and what your deepest desires are, your deepest needs, what is your passions, your strength, and how can you use it to build a fulfilling life that matches your dreams and talents? But also by consciously paying attention to your body, you will be able to detect where you have stored traumas, emotional baggage that stands in the way of the life that you so much deserve, and that translates as tension or heaviness, pain, even illness, and feeling blocked in parts of your body and your life. So this stored trauma and fear creates survival mechanisms and patterns of negative limiting thoughts and beliefs. And these negative low vibrational beliefs create tension and stress in body and mind. And when there's a lot of stress and tension in the body, especially when it lasts for a longer time, when it becomes a chronic tension, the chronic freeze response that many traumatized people live with, sometimes for years or even decades, as long as their trauma is unresolved. By this tension, your energy gets blocked, and this means that your energy, the flow of your life energy, and therefore your healing capacity and your overall well-being is blocked. Your condition, mentally and physically, energetically, spiritually, deteriorates, and illness develops. In these blocked areas, your body cannot sufficiently remove all waste products and toxics, and it becomes too acidic, which causes inflammation over time. And chronic inflammation results in developing all kinds of serious health issues, and also the development of cancer is directly linked to chronic inflammation. So back to the scientific inquiries on this, let me give an overview of what research so far has shown about the correlation between unresolved childhood trauma and the developing of cancer. So first of all, the impact of childhood trauma on stress responses. As mentioned, childhood trauma can result in chronic stress, this chronic freeze that I just mentioned, which has a long-term effect on the body's immune system. So trauma can cause dysregulation of all kinds of bodily functions, such as adrenal functions and autonomic nervous system functions, leading to a prolonged stress response. So chronic stress is known to contribute to inflammation, which is linked to the development of cancer. Studies have also shown that elevated levels of stress hormones, such as cortisol, can suppress immune function and increase inflammation, both of which may influence cancer progression. So, secondly, the role of adverse childhood experience, ACEs in short. Research on ACEs, which include various forms of abuse, neglect, and also household issues, dysfunctions. Think of a lot of fights, addictions of parents or other family members. They have shown that individuals with higher ACE scores are more likely to develop chronic illnesses, including cancer. One large study, the ACE study, found that individuals with higher ACE scores had a greater likelihood of engaging in risky health behaviors, such as smoking and substance abuse or poor diet, which could increase cancer risk. However, even when controlling these behaviors, childhood trauma itself seems to have also a direct connection to cancer development. The third point is the immune system dysfunction. Childhood trauma is associated with long-term immune dysfunction because chronic stress and trauma can weaken your immune surveillance, making it harder for the body to detect and eliminate cancerous cells. Inflammatory markers such as certain proteins and cytokines are often elevated in people who have experienced childhood trauma, and this state of chronic inflammation is a well-known risk factor for various cancers, including breast cancer, lung cancer, and other sort of cancers. Number 4, the epigenetic changes. Emerging research in epigenetics suggests that childhood trauma can result in changes to the way certain genes are expressed, particularly genes that are related to stress response and immune function. And these changes may increase the likelihood of cancer development later in life. For example, studies show that trauma can alter the expression of genes involved in tumor suppression or DNA repair mechanisms, which could facilitate cancerous changes in cells. Number 5, the psychological factors. So unresolved childhood trauma often leads to long-term psychological issues such as depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and these conditions can contribute to behaviors that increase cancer risk. For example, like we just mentioned, substance abuse or poor health maintenance in all varieties. But they may also have a direct biological effect through the dysregulation of immune function and chronic inflammation. And lastly, number 6, the social and behavioral pathways. Childhood trauma is linked to higher levels of health risk behaviors in adulthood, such as smoking and poor diet and physical inactivity, which are all established cancer risk factors. However, studies indicate that trauma's impact on cancer risk may go beyond these behaviors, implicating that biological mechanisms like inflammation and stress hormone imbalances. So in short, while there's not yet a definitive evidence that unresolved childhood trauma directly causes cancer, the research really suggests that childhood trauma can increase cancer risk through several mechanisms. mostly chronic stress and immune dysfunction, inflammation, epigenetic changes, and health behaviors relating to trauma responses. So overall, addressing childhood trauma through healing, providing emotional, energetic, and psychological support and guidance is essential not only for mental well-being, but also for long-term physical health, potentially reducing the risk of developing cancer later in life. So as a healer, I cannot mention this enough. Healing yourself on an emotional level, knowing how to regulate your emotions, your energy in your body, and knowing how to tap into your true creative and healing potential is essential, not only for your emotional well-being. It is key to healing all other areas in your life and of yourself, for a clear mind and overall feeling of happiness and resilience to life's challenges and difficulties, and also for a healthy body, overall healthy body. And in addition to that, peace and abundance and connectedness and prosperity in your relationships, your career, your finances. So to conclude this, investing in healing yourself emotionally is the greatest gift that you can give yourself and the world around you. So in future videos, I will be sharing much more about the connection between mental health and physical health, between unresolved trauma and the developing of chronical disease, and also about my own healing journey relating to trauma as well as physical conditions. So for now, thank you for watching, and till next video. Bye.